The HeyBike Mars is the third of HeyBike's models that I've tried, and I have to say it's my favorite so far. Its fat tires, folding capabilities, decent performance, and reasonable price make it potentially the most versatile e-bike of the HeyBike lineup. So let's look at what I like about it and what falls short for me. The Mars retails at just over $1,000, and I'd say that component-wise you pretty much get what you pay for. A 7-speed Shimano drivetrain with the usual shifter you see on these bikes, generic mechanical disc brakes on both the front and rear, front 80mm travel suspension fork, 48-volt, 12.5 amp-hour removable battery, and 500-watt rear hub motor. It's a bigger bike than I expected it to be, and it's actually pretty heavy, weighing in at almost 70 pounds with the battery installed. It fits my 6'1", 200-pound frame pretty well, and offers adjustable handlebars and a standard adjustable seat and seat post. The stock seat post is a bit short for me, as is the case with most e-bikes I try, so I do leave it fully raised when riding. If you are taller than me, then you'll definitely have to get a longer seat post. The Mars comes with 23-inch diameter, 4-inch wide fat tires. I really like the fat tires on this e-bike as they offer extra cushion to help out the relatively small suspension. The wide tires make this bike capable off-road and even in snow. This bike also folds down with hinge points on the frame and on the base of the handlebars. It's a bit of a process to fold this bike down, but it gets reasonably compact, enough to cram in a car or store compactly at home. The issue is that the bike is super awkward to carry around when folded due to its high weight and slightly awkward dimensions. It definitely wouldn't be possible to carry this around for any extended period of time. It does have a very convenient handle to make it easier to carry while folded, and this handle can also be used to move the bike around when unfolded. The bike's geometry and size is a bit unusual, but it's actually still pretty comfortable to ride. The bike forces you to ride in a very upright position with the handlebars positioned quite high. You even have the ability to raise the bars, but I'm actually not sure who would want them higher. The height of the handlebars is also nice for riding in a standing position for hill climbing or mountain biking. The Mars is both pedal assist and a dedicated throttle. I found myself using the pedal assist most of the time because the motor isn't particularly powerful by itself, but the throttle is nice for maintaining speed on flat ground. The handlebar mounted display is pretty basic, giving you the usual information: current speed, total and trip odometers, average speed, among other things. Everything that can be displayed or adjusted on this display is outlined in the manual. The current electronic riding mode is adjusted using the buttons on the display. This bike has 3 riding modes, each with a different level of pedal assistance and top speed. The low modes 1 and 2 are good if you really need to conserve battery or want to ride at very slow speeds, but you'll probably find yourself using the bike in mode 3. The bike reaches 20 miles per hour on flat ground with the motor alone and can obviously get going faster downhill. The 7-speed gearing is versatile enough for most riding conditions, with the highest gear matching pretty well with the top speed of the motor, and the lowest being okay for most uphill riding applications. This bike slows down to around 9 or 10 miles per hour on most hills, and it did stop on a couple very steep hills I rode. Generally though, the bike is capable of most things an average rider and average city would require of it. The pedal assist motor engagement can be a bit frustrating, sometimes taking multiple full pedal strokes to engage. I found that using the throttle in tandem with pedaling on takeoff can mitigate some of the annoyances of the pedal assist. The motor will also continue to engage for a second or so after stopping pedal strokes, which can be bothersome in certain situations. In my range test, I was able to get around 15 miles of range in mode 3 riding, though this number will vary based on how you ride. Probably with just a little more effort to conserve battery on my part, I could have milked a couple more miles out of it. In total, my range test lasted an hour and 20 minutes with an average speed of 10.8 miles per hour. You can also get an extra battery to swap out if you need extra range. The battery is removable and can be easily slid out and brought inside to charge. One thing that surprised me was that after the battery died, the bike became unrideable. I don't know if this is because the fat tires and the weight of the bike drag it down or something with the motor, but it was like riding through mud once the battery was dead. I ended up walking the bike home at the end of my range test because it was quicker to walk the bike than to try and get on and ride it. So keep that in mind if you need an electric bike that can be ridden easily even after the battery dies. The front and rear mechanical disc brakes are about what you would expect for a bike like this. Nothing special, but good enough for the speeds and applications that you would use this bike for. The suspension fork is a low travel 80mm fork, and the seat post has some mild suspension as well. The tires seem to do more to help with ride comfort than the fork does, but small suspension is better than none. The seat post suspension does help with seated ride comfort a bit. It can be annoying, however, when riding hills, as it compresses down and makes the seat shorter than normal. The front fork has a lockout if you would prefer the suspension to not compress. This is nice for extended hill climbs. The rear rack is a nice inclusion and adds to the versatility of this bike. I had a ton of fun riding this bike off-road and took it out a few times to do some mild mountain biking. It struggled at a few points climbing up the mountain, but performed pretty well downhill and on flat ground. You can check out the full downhill ride at the link in the top right, or it'll be down in the description. I also think this would be a great option for commuting and everyday riding, especially during winter if you need something capable on ice or snow. It's quite fun on dirt paths and really seems to handle just about any sort of riding I tried it on, and for the price, this seems like a great option. I really enjoy this bike, and out of all the e-bikes I've tried, this will probably be the one I continue to use the most. Generally speaking, I've found the quality of this bike to be pretty good. I haven't had any doubts or issues with it so far, so hopefully it will hold up well in the long run. The link to this bike and any active discount code will be down below in the description, so check that out if you'd like. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video or it was helpful, and get subscribed for more PEV content. See you in the next one.